Selamat datang. Sebelum dimulainya acara, kami selaku tim kesehatan dan keselamatan kerja akan menyampaikan Safety Induction. Safety Induction ini merupakan implementasi dari Undang-Undang Nomor 1 Tahun 1970 mengenai keselamatan kerja. Luangkan waktu sejenak untuk menemukan pintu keluar terdekat. Potensi bahaya yang ada pada kawasan ini adalah kebakaran dan gempa bumi. Apabila munculnya asap atau getaran secara tiba-tiba, harap tetap tenang dan jangan panik. Perhatikan langkah Anda ketika menuju pintu keluar dan lindungi kepala Anda. Alat pemadam api ringan tersedia di setiap ruangan. Pada keadaan darurat dihimbau untuk tidak menggunakan lift. Sebaiknya gunakan tangga evakuasi yang telah tersedia. Tetap tenang dan ikuti instruksi selanjutnya dari petugas. Titik kumpul terdekat terletak di depan pos pemadam kebakaran. Saat berada di studio teater ini, Anda perlu memperhatikan hal-hal berikut. Dilarang makan dan minum di dalam ruangan. Dilarang menggunakan rokok atau rokok elektrik bentuk lainnya di dalam ruangan. Perhatikan dan ikuti rambu-rambu yang ada. Perhatikan barang bawaan Anda dan buang sampah pada tempatnya. Dilarang membawa narkoba, minuman keras, senjata api, dan senjata tajam. Saat acara ini selesai, semua aturan keselamatan yang disampaikan di awal tetap berlaku di seluruh kawasan Taman Ismail Marzuki. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Salam keselamatan.
Welcome to Jakarta Content Week 2023, Karen. We just watched a performance from Tesla Manav Kuntari. For over a decade, Tesla Manav immersed himself in classical music before embarking a diverse career as a jazz artist. With a commitment to creativity, he has produced 16 albums or EPs and performed globally in jazz, world music, neoclassical, electronic, and experimental genres. His live set performance, including recent electronic and organic set, demonstrate a well-honed skill set, incorporating manipulated foley, shivering voice from the cornet, and an intense dynamic of heavy ancient rains in duo format. Tesla Manav Kuntari. And of course, this discussion will be moderated by Fabi Indriani. She is an Indonesian author and freelance journalist. Tatler Asian named her as one of the best female Indonesian authors in 2019. She's introduced the term magical Islamism for her two short stories collection, Not Virgin Mary 2017 and Chasing Muhammad 2020. And her work have been profiled in international media like Australia, BBC, LA Italy, and many more. Her stories have been translated to Italian, Japan, Germany, and Farsi. So for Kak Febi, the floor is yours.
Palestine is now living between a mass murder of memories and an imagined future. A country and a nation that has to face daily systematic destruction. And tonight we have Maya Abu Al-Hayyat, a poet, a novelist, and a writer of children's book, who is now actively reviving the poetic and prosaic beauty of Palestine as a defiance act to the destruction of her nation and culture, to moisturize hope and the weapon against the annihilation of people and culture of Palestine. Maya records the breath and pulses of Palestine with her feminine perspective, and she is also the director of Palestine Writing Workshop, an institution for encouraging reading on Palestine through creative writing and storytelling for teachers and children. Her works appear in the Los Angeles Review of Books, The Guardian, Literary Hope, and etc. Her writing has been translated to English, French, Korean, German, and Swedish. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm really delightful to have you here. Can you tell us the last days before you leave for Jakarta Content Week?
First, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, everybody, to come. It's uh, it's a crazy days. I know everybody's like ask me how you left, why you are in Indonesia, and I feel like I have this question in my mind. I have to answer it. I don't know. Maybe I just escaped because I was crying for the whole month, and we were doing nothing but crying. Unfortunately, we didn't have any chance to do anything. I can't even write. I can't even talk about it in social media. I can't even express my feeling because I live in Jerusalem, which is like in a very critical point in the whole aspect. The war is not just in Gaza; it's everywhere. So it's also in West Bank, and here you can talk freely about Palestine. I can't talk freely in Jerusalem, unfortunately. So and I'm leaving my family there. So I hope I go back safe and everything goes well for that. But this is not new for me. It's not. It's just a repetition, and this is that we are like I am trapped in this repetition. I wrote all my poetry before. Like most of my poetry, you read it and you think I just wrote it yesterday, but I wrote it 10 years ago because this is not the first time we had this war. We will have it again and we'll have it again. It's this time is horror, and this time like people see it at social media, and because everybody is like posting, but this is happening since 75 years ago, and it's happened in that strength, and it's the killing, the massive killing, the lost people. I lost my. I was in love in the university with a man who was killed by 20 years ago. So it's not just we have this loss all our life and we live with it. So and through actually my poetry I try to just to adjust how to live in that kind of loss without losing yourself. This is I think why poetry is important and why art is such important things, and we should highlight the importance of art and literature because it make us it give us this breath to tell the truth, to heal through storytelling and through listening to others, sometimes it's hard because you need to confront yourself with things that you don't want to confront yourself with because uh, truth is hard. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, people from afar, like people in Indonesia, well, Indonesia historically always stands for Palestine independence, right? But people from afar usually only see it through media,
Yeah.
and we only see like conflicts and war. Can you share more about uh, the beauty,
Yeah.
your memories of your homeland,
Yeah.
even though you, as you mentioned, you were growing up also in a conflict situation?
Yeah. I grew up in different countries because my father was from a BLO fighter. I was born in Beirut to a Lebanese mother and a Palestinian father. My father was like left Palestine when he was 16 years old. He was like forced to go out, and he became one of the PLO fighters. So and he went to Lebanon. He met my mother. My mother was very beautiful woman from Lebanon, and
I can see it in you.
she was forced to marry him actually. Yeah, it was a very, very tragedy story, and they divorced after 1 year actually when I was born, and because there was a Lebanese war at that time, my father took us with him. I was raised in Jordan. I didn't see my mother for 20 years old. I was yeah. This was the first time I saw her. Um, so I raised in my aunt house in Jordan, and then I also didn't see my father for 13 years old, for 11 years because he was also forbidden to come to Jordan because he's Palestinian. Uh, so and we finally after Oslo we went back to Palestine, and I lived in Nablus. So I didn't know Palestine at that time. I knew it just from TV, from my father's perspective, from his story, from his belonging to his to just sit. He was living in Spain and like in very beautiful countries, but he was all his dreams was to just put a chair in front of his old house in Nablus, and which is very poor house and like the old city, and he just wanted to stay there. He said that will be like better than the whole any other countries all that was very strange for us because we didn't know this country. We just hear about it from media. You see people killed. You see, you just see the media things. So I remember when I first time entered Palestine, I was expecting not to see streets or buildings. I was like very shocked to see buildings, and it was like
How old were you?
I was 15 years old. Yeah. But it wasn't like this. You just see things that people killed at the street. This is the media. There was like this is Palestine for everybody. It's like just the conflict. But when you go there, you see people smiling, having fun, like daily life, and at the same time they have all this conflict, and they. So you are fascinating with their strength. They are strange people. For me, it was like how they managed to have all this complexity and at the same time have normal life. So I try to catch this, the normality in unnormal condition, how to live normal in unnormal condition, which is very difficult because يعني, it's not something you can do sometimes, especially and every house in Palestine lost somebody or has somebody in prison or somebody is killed or somebody is in the diaspora. So يعني, there's no single house is normal, but you live your life. And when I experienced the loss, I stayed for 10 years crying. I couldn't even that I write novels. I try to heal through writing, but I couldn't do it for a long time because it was like something you can't deal with. That's why I wrote once, if يعني, if you lose one person, it's like you lose everybody. For the person, for me, it's like يعني, I write. I think I just rewrite the same text every time, just how I died when he died. It's something like this, because when you lose somebody, you will try all your time just to forget that loss, and it will not happen, because if you forget, then you will betray that person. That's why Palestinian is will never end the case, because يعني, it's something bigger than us. It's when we talk, I have a sentence in poetry said, we mention Palestine 20 times in a sentence. And this is right, because we keep saying Palestine, Palestine, even if you eat, it's politics. If you smell if you breathe the air, if you walk on the street, everything is politics. Everything. Even I always said that I never been in any party. I don't like politics. I hate all the politicians. But at the same time, everything I write about is politics. But unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think the source of people's strength as you capture it in your writings?
I think, believe me, when you just talk to each other, this is a strength. It's like we all gathered around one big good issue, which is like we understand what it means to be Palestinian. I think this is what's happening. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to, يعني, everybody knows everything, even if they يعني, maybe because we have a lot of sharing stories and poetry and art. I think Palestine survived until now because of art and literature, because they carry Palestine and their words and their poetry and their literature. So everybody knows about it because of that, because of the symbols, because metaphoric things. So we gather around the symbols, the freedom. We have very good reasons to live for, to free Palestine someday. I know I'm very I'm not I forget the word, optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all. I know that everything is happening is just to, yani, what is happening right now will lead to more losses. We will have nothing in return. I know, because this is the powerful is talking, and but at the same time, you can't say we will stop fighting or you will stop resistance. We can't say that, never. Nobody can even yani cross that, because it's like red light. It's nobody can do it. even the one who's not believe in resistance, even the one who don't want to lose anybody. For me, I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to. I don't. I want to live. I don't. I want my children to live. I want everybody to live. Actually, not just Palestine. I want everybody to live. But at the same time, you can't say no. I don't want. We will stop fighting, or we'll stop saying Palestine every time, and we'll stop resistance, because this is good or bad. This is the good or evil. This is the thing. Unfortunately, I hate to say these kind of big words, yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Growing up in the conflict, one could experience a truly different uh, story, life story. So, and I read it so beautifully. I found it beautiful in your poem, "My House." Do you want to read it for us?
I lived in 10 houses actually. Until now, I lived in 10 houses,
houses.
maybe more. But and I think that's why I had too many different genre. Like I write poetry, I write novels, I write children's story. I am a translator. I'm an actress. I do different things because I feel boring if I stay in one house. So now I stayed in my house for 10 years. So I feel like when I will leave. When I will leave. Yeah. My house. None of many houses I lived in concerned me. After the third house, I lost interest. But lately, my organs and body parts have been complaining of inexplicable ailment. My arms extended higher than a tree's, and when I run, it is at inconsistent speeds. The important thing is to pass those walking closest to me. Leave them behind before they leave me. A Tunisian doctor told my dad, it's a psychiatric condition. I had liked her and considered her a house before she spoke that sentence, which caused a lot of bruises and brought down the house. I read several texts I took for houses and stayed in them a while. Liquid Mirrors was a crazy about in which I forget my first love. There were magazines too, Al Carmel, Poets, Aquas, and I studied in engineering. I specialized in earthquakes to build houses whose foundation resist climates and the unpredictable. My children dug up a trench for me and said, "Here, rest a bit, Mom." But trenches leave mark on skins, as on a field, and the birds gathered, picked my seeds. After the field had drowned in stagnant water, in a text, I can build a house with windows and balconies that overlook galaxies and stars, painted with a writing of Amjad Nasser, who said that for the sake of a solid house, one should distinguish between imagination and knowledge. Even if the house is built on illusion, I will raise my house on the backs of horses that will carry it to the fields. There, my legs will pause.
Thank you so much, Maya. So it's really fascinating to imagine that you built the house in the text that you read. Is it how you become a writer as well?
Yeah, I think part of being a writer is just take away the the burden that you want to be in the house. It's like you can just erase all the walls and have your own houses anywhere you be. So I think that's why I am now when I travel, I don't feel like I am away from anything because I build my own house somehow. And so Maya's house is like going back, go back with me everywhere I go. Yeah, yeah,
You also write about I raise my house in the back of horses.
yeah,
So it's for me it feels like it's so free
yeah,
but also unsettling at the same time.
yeah. I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, maybe now I can say that because when I go to my memories and see what is the great points that changed me or make me what I am, it's all books actually. Most of them is because of books, because of writers, because of texts. So I think that makes me what I am, and not just the changing of homes, our cities or countries or people. Because you change everything. You can't take anything with you. It's like you dumped all your life and you begin a new life again. So you need to adjust. You need to do things. You need to know how to leave things and not feeling the loss every time. So house is important. And it's like our all our fight is about of houses. You because you need to be somewhere. You need a family. You need somebody to take you down. And maybe my kids now they just take me down, which is good. I thank God because I feel like a little bit rest because they just build this and say rest, mom, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we witness how people in Palestine lost their memories,
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, all the little things, pictures,
Yeah.
child plays, or whatever, the memories, the things that we hold dearly usually. And you mentioned about that people hold on to stories.
Yeah.
How is the tradition in Palestine people to, how they spread stories,
Mm.
how they usually, how poetry play in daily life.
Yeah. Yani, I think you will hear poetry everywhere. Like Mahmoud, as everybody, all the countries, you have the national poetry that you will hear everywhere, like Mahmoud Darwish. For example, everybody knows Mahmoud Darwish. For example, he's the greatest poet. But there's also the young poets who's trying to build their own language and trying to make their own poetry and stories and become modern and tell the modern story, because we also like stuck in the past because you don't have future. Sometimes when you don't have when you can't imagine your future, you just stuck in the past. For me, I try to write the moment, this moment, because it's hard to write moments. People don't like to, because it's wounded. Yani, when you have wound, you can't touch the wound. So people can't stand sometimes the how it hurts to be to tell the stories of now. So lots of people are stuck in the past, like stuck with the stories of the past because they don't want to let it go. If you let it go, it's also a betray. So you want to stuck with it. You want to tell it. You want to keep it. Remember it. So in Nakbe now, like everybody writes and rewrite the stories of the Nakbe because you don't want to forget this. Because if you forget this, what is happening now will happen again because it's also a Nakbe. So it's you need to remember all the time who you are, why you are exist, why you are losing things, why all this future, and but at the same time you don't want to attach too much. And I was thinking during these days, Palestinians should learn their children not to be attached to them too much. You should put new like checklist for don't be attached to your children, don't make your children love you, don't love your children too much, don't decorate your house with pictures, do whatever things that practical things just to leave. And this is what is happening. Like everybody has bag with all the important stuff that they will take it and escape. It's go anyway. So and maybe yani, this is how we adjust with what is happening, because this is happening to everybody any moment. So you need we need I think to like write a new books of how to be to grow up as a Palestinian. Yani. Yeah, but at the same time you will see everything. Yani, and this is the beauty of resistance, because resistance need life. You know, resistance mean that you have principles, you have dignity, you are not forgetting, you are holding with your thoughts and ethics. And you know, this is resistance, because it's easy for us to say خلاص, okay, Israel take everything, we will be all Israelis and thank you, bye bye Palestine. This is very easy, you know. For some people it's you know, why we resist all that, why it's all this powerful, the American, all this guns, the people who are killing every day, why is that happening? Just because we have dignity. We don't want to forget our people who was killed because for us to live now. So it's the stories, the emotions, the people. Like my father lost his brother. His picture was at our home all the time. Like you would see him everywhere. No, nobody forget him. He was died when he was killed by when he was 27 years old. But you can't forget him. It's a betray to forget him. So that's why we resist. We resist. You know, all the time.
And you resist by your writings and
Or escape. I don't know. I don't know. I escape maybe because it's not. Yeah, it's a way of healing and a way to see things from afar, and a way to continue, because I can't. Yeah, I can't. You can't handle it. Sometimes it's too much. So you say, why all these people? I don't want my children to be in danger. As I don't want anybody to be in the. Why is that continue? But it's not our choice. Yeah, it's not our choice.
how do you usually write? I mean, if you have some ideas for novel or your poems,
Yeah.
how do you write it?
It's different between poetry and novel. For a novel is a project, is a whole project. You know, you don't just need I start with character sometime, but I also start with ideology. Like I know what I am. I have thoughts that I want to make it through, but I make through characters. Poetry is different. Poetry is like momental. It's very like most of my poetry I wrote it in transportation, public transportation, because I see things, I hear people.
You try to capture the moment.
Capture the moment, to capture the movement, the time, the relationships, like it was small things that you can't capture in novel. Novel is more like depth and like go in a long term. So sometimes I write 10 pages, for example, at the beginning of my novel, and then I leave it for 3 years, and then I come back and complete the writing. So it's a very long project and needs lots of patience. It's not easy. The novel is totally different. I like writing novels more than writing poetry. Poetry is like give you like the rush and the happiness, but novel make you empowered, like make you feel like you are control and you are creating,
You are
doing.
God.
You are God. You are creating everything, and you're controlling. You're like you are not a puppet anymore in somebody else's stories. You are your own inventor.
Thank you, Maya. We will have one more performance from Tesla Manaf. Thank you, Tesla. So beautiful. So your poems often tells about the mothers and the kids in Palestine, and how bad the situation for them right now. We know that it's always women and children who got suffered the most when we have the situation like this and conflict and war. So
Men want to be heroes. Women like clean the blood from their clothes. This is the situation all the time. But at the same time, everybody is hero in his own way. يعني. Yeah, mothers and children and everybody actually, even the men. I feel so bad for the men because we always talk about mothers and children, but they also died and they also have been killed and they also suffer because they want to be men, you know. But at the same time, they are victims as everybody else.
they want to be the hero, but
yeah.
at the same time they are victims.
Because he doesn't have a choice also but to be a hero. It's like their destiny, yani. You know, they need to be heroes. Like we deliver kids, where they have to protect us. It's something like that, yani. So yani, but because yani most of the Palestinian literature focus a lot about nationalism and telling Palestinian story, politics, and but yani nobody hear or listen the other stories, the marginalized stories like mothers and children, because also women doesn't not we don't just have the occupation, we also have our own facing the patriarchy society, facing traditionals, wants to have our own lives, freedom, all these kind of like small fights that we have everywhere, not just even in West. Yani, it's everywhere. So writing this is sometimes in Palestine is like luxury to write about it, but it's very important to write about it. It's very important to hear, because like when I came here, I was wondering, I see all people the same, But if I read the literature or the poetry of Indonesian people, I will try to see things. I will start see things different. I will see people different. I will see things different. I will see streets different. Everything I will see it different. So we need to hear the stories of women and mothers and it's what I always wonder how they live, how they cook, and how they, because this daily routine is what makes life. You wake up, you eat, you clean, this is usually when you heal from trauma, everybody will tell you do routine, and the routines is done by mothers, and they run the houses, they run the life, they run daily things. So they run resistance also, yeah, in a way.
Anyway, yeah. You're also a mother of three, right? So how do you live as a mom within these days?
I try to build a house for my kids. Like I always think about this story. I didn't write it yet. That a mother built a house with no windows and no houses, so everybody's not leaving the house. So everybody's lived inside this house for too many years, and they think there's nothing outside this house. But sometimes there's a cat who's come and ruined this system for her. But I try to shield my children with with ignorance, actually, not know anything about anything. I try to protect them as much as I can, but it's collapsed. Yani, unfortunately, now they are angry because kids in that age become very angry, and when I see
They are 15 and
15,
12. So Maya has twins.
yeah. And when I see actually teenagers just when you see videos from Palestine coming from the hospitals, just watch the teenagers who's behind the camera, who's looking like this. They don't know what to do. They are angry. They are afraid. They don't know how to control things. They feel guilty because they think that they should do things, but they don't know what to do. And these kids, I feel so bad for the teenagers, because they are in a very critical point in their lives, and when they suffer this kind of things, it will affect their whole life forever. So I try to protect my kids, but it's very, very, very hard. Yeah, unfortunately, everybody, when I go abroad, they ask me why you don't leave Palestine, for example. You have I can if I want, but I wrote a road for lost for that because I really don't want to leave. I like it. I left for too many years. I don't want to leave. I don't know. I don't want to learn new language. I don't want to explain myself to others, because life is not just to be who you are. Sometimes it's just you don't want to explain normal things, because people don't understand what it is mean to be a Palestinian, and you need to explain that all the time and know why you are acting like this, why you are moving too much, why you are not Palestinian will know why, but why are you shouting? And I always say that we don't write poetry, we scream, unfortunately, and this is the carry of being a Palestinian writer also. It's like we are screaming. I really want to write about normal things, like more normal things. I always wanted to be like, please don't deal with me as a Palestinian poet. Deal with me as a poet. I'm a poet. But then you understand that you can't deal with yourself like that. It's but you can't explain it at the same time. Yeah.
You also explore the womanhood in your poems, like one poem that I like. Oh my we've grown, whoever invented squeezing breasts with a bra that makes of this great prison should be prosecuted. Well, I found it hilarious and so true at the same time. If you're a woman, you know how it can be a great prison. So, can you can you share more about that?
Nothing to share more about.
Women, we know that, right?
Yeah. I tried to write about this, and I wrote a lot about my laugh because it's very loud, and it's like everybody's looking at me and why you laugh that much, and I maybe because I cried too much in my life, I try to protect my laugh a lot, and I think it's a fight also to be a woman and laugh in a loud. It's a kind of resistance because anyway, no need to explain it. Just to have the right to laugh.
Yeah. Laugh is also
Laugh is
a part of resistance.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that, sense of humor, sense of self during this hard situation? Well, you live that for a long time, but sometimes the situation can always getting worse.
Yeah, new physiological things. They will say that this is part of the trauma. Actually, it's a trauma that you try to pleasing people. You try to laugh too much. You try. It's all part of your trauma. Unfortunately, but I will. But I always said no. Okay, and why not? We had too much pressure. We had too much angry. We had too much sadness in our lives, and we know what it means to be to live and to give people empathies and love and try to continue to live your life with joyful, even if you have nothing to be joyful about. And actually, the kids, working with children, I do storytelling for children. That's the best thing that happened to me because they heal me. Their reactions, they're innocent. I'm very innocent person. I don't hide behind my face or so. I am very innocent. So when you deal with elder or like grown-ups, they will judge you a lot. But kids don't. The kids will take you as you are. They will love you. They will give you emotions. They will support you. So they heal me more than I heal them. More than yeah.
You told us about losing your loved ones 20 years ago, right? And that was something extraordinary event, of course, a tragedy, but somehow you should, make it like an ordinary grief as one title of your poems. How do you love? How do you manage to love in the feeling that detachment, as you mentioned? How do you love?
Yeah, unfortunately, after I lost this love, I was like hurting myself all the time by going through bad relationships, like not good relationships. It's like even it's like I don't deserve to be loved anymore. It's like, so all my relationships after that love was not supposed to happen. Even my marriage, it wasn't supposed to. Yeah, because it's like you don't deserve. Khalas, you. And I always say that maybe I took my love in love and I finished with it. And he's gone and I finished. Yeah, and maybe I was deserved to die at that moment when he died, and. Maybe there's a reason why I'm still alive. I don't know. I remember that once when he died. I remember that I was writing a novel, and then I stopped writing that novel and collect all my stuff and my books, which I didn't want my father to read. So I put them in a bag, and I decided to let myself die. because there was an intifada, there was a war also. So there was a place where if you go there, you will be killed anytime. If you cross that street, you will be killed. So I didn't want to suicide. I wanted to just go and be killed. But I remember my sister. When I told her, "No, خلاص, I am in peace right now. I feel good," and she was crying and crying and I felt like now I feel like maybe I stayed alive because of her. She told me she was very tough and we were always fighting. And at that moment she told me, "I can't live. I will die." She was crying though, so I convinced myself that I live because of her. But at the same time, I love love. I love it. I love to be in love. I love to talk about love. It's enjoyable. It's because it's part of life. It's part of feeling the rush of things. Have passion. I don't want to lose my ability to love. Because if you lose it, you will lose everything. Really, it's very tough life. And at the same time, I don't want to take myself very seriously. I love to like. This is very new. يعني I am learning. I'm teaching myself not to take myself very seriously, like because I'm not the center of the earth, and at the same time, just to be lighter, and that actually easy things for you.
Please give warmest applause for Maya. So Maya, you don't like small talk very much, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm talking a lot.
No, I mean, you don't like small talks.
Yeah.
Like, the things.
I go directly to the depth.
Do you want to read the poem?
يلا. لم أعد أسأل. I don't ask anymore. Yeah?
I don't ask anymore. Maya will read it in Arabic. You will know why I said Maya doesn't like small talks. They will,
put it in English. Okay. لم أعد أسأل. لا يهمني عدد أولادك أو عملك أو عنوانك. أسأل كيف تقضي النهار، كيف تمضي ساعات الليل الطويلة لحظة الألم، كيف تعالج أمراضك الدورية، الانتفاخات وحساسية المواسم، طريقتك في علاج الاشتياق وتفادي الفيديوهات المزعجة، كيف تمر دون أن تتوقف حين يتوقف الجميع، كيف قطعت الشارع بعد خروجك من المعتقل، وكيف تبرر الأيام والساعات والسنين دون الذين فقدتهم. ربما أسأل عما تفكر فيه الآن وأنت تجبر أطفالك على النوم ساعة القصف، وأنت تمرر عنهم شبح الموت في الكوابيس. لم أعد أسأل دينك أو أحوالك أو أوطانك. أسأل كيف تخطيت الانتفاضة الأولى والثانية، كيف عالجت عيوبك وخوفك وعيوبك، كيف اجتزت قنابل الغاز والاجتياحات والدبابات في ميدان المدينة، كيف تجولت في طريق الموت بالخطأ. لم أعد أسأل ما اسمك أو عمرك أو شكلك، لقد مررت من هنا حتى الآن ونجوت أيها الأعجوبة.
So thank you, Maya. So, there's a lot of meaningful things to talk, and you find because, as you mentioned, massacre teach you not to wait.
Yeah.
So is that why you don't talk? You don't ask. Don't ask small things anymore.
Yeah. I try to skip all the videos, and because I don't want. I wrote this one much before, like 4 years or 6 years ago. I don't follow the stories of the people who's still alive because you don't want to follow this kind of stories. It's very painful. I did it before. It's not something you want to do because it will always be painful. It will never stop this pain. I remember there was a kid whose name Mahmoud Abu Samra. He was a kid from Gaza. Like he died in 2013. He was 7 years old. I remember if you read the Mahmoud, the poem called Mahmoud. He was killed. And when I saw his picture, I didn't know at the beginning. His smile took me, and I was searching for his smile everywhere. And I didn't know why. And I was crying for the whole week. And then I remember that my kids was supposed to be named Mahmoud. Uh, because my ex, like the one was killed, his father named Mahmoud, so he was supposed to name his son Mahmoud. So I thought, and the whole poem called Mahmoud, and that children could be our kids. So sometimes when you follow the stories of people who get alive, it's more dangerous and more hurtful for the people who killed, because all their life will be in pain, it will never end. And this is why actually Palestine is still alive until now, because it never ends, the pain, it never ends. They don't understand it, but it never ends, yeah.
How do you reconcile the pain and also the desire at the same time?
By inventing ways to live, inventing way to laugh. I celebrate everything, like small things. If we brought pots to the house or dishes or so, I celebrate them. Because you need to find these small things to friends that knows you. You will be lucky if you have these relationships with people, connect with to have one or two friends the whole your life. They understand everything, understand your pain, understand and time actually. I just hear that people invent, actually we are the only people that we invent time because we think we are very important, and we want to document our life and our past, future, and now. But maybe we don't have to take time that serious also, and to try to live the moment all the time, to live at the moment. Although you will have all that burden of the past, you need to try to take them away from your back.
You said in your poems that you suffer a phobia called hope. Can you elaborate, Maya, about that?
Yeah, because unfortunately, we live by hope as a Palestinian. It's like there's a hope that you will have one day liberation, you will have one day happiness, you will have one day. So hope is like something very, very important, and you will read it a lot in the poetry and stories, and so everybody lives in that hope. But at the same time, I'm not optimistic, as I said before. I'm afraid. I have phobia from hope. When I hear people say things about hope, I get scared.
It brings disappointment.
Of course, it's all the time we have this disappointment. Although we try to avoid it, even not to confront it, but it's disappointment all the time.
But how do you talk to your kids, for example?
I don't talk to my. I really sometimes you just escape from this kind of, especially now, because my kids think about the freedom, and they think that about the human rights, and they think about all these kind of things that they believe. I don't want them to lose hope, to lose the ability to control their life. I don't want that, because if you lose it, you will feel the disappointment will kill you actually, and you will go in a very dark path. So I try not to and what is happening now, and this is the very strong, and everybody sees that things are happening, massacres are happening at TV. Everybody see everything, everybody knows everything, but at the same time, nobody willing to do anything. It's and this is very disappointment. You say that there's international law, there's they kill us with the freedom and the justice, the Western justice all the time that we are, but at the same time you see that there's nothing. You don't do anything about it. Of course, there's a lot of good people around the world, but who's controlling the power? The politicians, the economic, the money, the social media. Now we are facing that. Nothing. You don't have anything to rely on, and this is very bad. Even if we know it before, we know that before, but you don't wanna believe it, because if you believe it, you will lose your mind. You will understand that you have nothing. Nobody will care about you. خلاص, you can die any moment, and we all know that, but we don't want to believe it at the same time. That's why you need a bigger case. Like you do it for. Not just for earth, you do it for God, you do it for hope, for good, you do it for big things, You don't want to die for nothing. You don't want to die for not a good story, You want to have a good reason to die for, if you supposed to be die, or killed,
In your poems, you also contemplate about death. In some parts, like we could die in a traffic accident. So, is it your way to, to make that as as not as scary? Because every one of us afraid to die.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, we can.
Yeah, read it. Yeah.
It's
better.
We could die in a traffic accident or after a long procreated illness that makes others wish us dead. A flash flood might do it after heavy rain. A forgotten bomb from a previous war. A fresh bomb from an ongoing one. A virus herefore unknown. Or a well-known virus that doctors and pharmacists get bored with and miss its reappearance. We might stop breathing. There are too many of us on the planet. Or in a famine, our spouses will eat us. And in excess, our arteries will clog up. Smoking kills. Lack of pleasure. Too much sex. A fire from a scented candle. A depressed driver. A jealous husband. A rookie burglar. And we could die of waiting for death. Nothing new in any of it. No insight or learned lesson. Only the facts. In present and continuing actions. So, can you explore more about that? The idea of death and life. And you also mentioned in other poems, almost died, almost alive.
Yeah, I think it's all to be less serious about things, which is very serious, and I think human try to be very, take their existence very serious, and I think we should be more familiar with being on earth as part of the earth, part of the nature, part of life, not become the dominant of everything, and because we all share the same destiny at the end, which is death. which is the end, which is maybe it's the end, it's not, but it's we are sharing the same destiny, everything on earth. So not to take it that serious, I think. Not to take it that serious. It's relieving because I used to think that it's very important, like our life is very important, everything is happening, me is very important. I used to think that everything will start and end by me, because when I open my eyes at the beginning, life starts, and when I die, life will stop, for me at least. And this is why I am very important, because the whole life is working with me, for me. But now it's not important that I am alive, and it's not important that I will die. It's hard, but I try to live with that thought, actually, and to teach my kids that thought, because that maybe will make it less hurtful to detach or to lose somebody. Yeah.
So all of us can die with a hole on our neck, as you mentioned, whether it's by bullet or by words.
Yeah. Severe.
Yeah. Do you want to read the poem Whistling?
Whistling. I remember now, I need my glasses. I forget. Whistling. Do you see this hole in my neck? Not sure if it was a bullet or a word that did it, but I am certain two lips passed over it and left whistling behind, and also a rustle whenever I turn to the future or to the past. Yes.
You said it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more about that?
Yeah, I hate to explain poetry because it's like, why poetry if it's explaining? Yeah, but whistling, because whenever it's like I hear this whistling whenever I go back and I look to the future. That's why I try to live now, because there's lots of poets, and maybe words even, because words also as a poet, and that went through me and left all this whistling and noising all around my body and mind. That's why the past is very hard, and the future also is very hard, because it's all connected. Yeah.
Lovely. So, do you also connect with other Palestinian writers these days?
Yeah. I don't know if you had the presentation. I was just wanted.
Do you want to?
No, just want to put some pictures for Palestinian like writers, and yeah, of course, I have a lot of friends and who's writer. We just lost. Unfortunately, Zakaria Muhammad. He was a great poet. He's modern poet. Lots of This Fadwa Tuqan. This is just picture for Palestinian writers. This is Samira Azzam. I think this old woman. But I put one. I put Zakaria Muhammad because I love him. He's also like. Yeah, can you share another? Can you move the picture? This is Zuhaira Zakatan. She's alive. She's I don't know if you hear about Ghassan Zakatan. She's his sister. She's also a poet. Okay, Suad Al-Amri. She's a storyteller. She writes novels. If you hear about her. There's a lot of Palestinian writers. I love this one, Huzama Habayeb. She's writing the whole details of also daily life. I love her. She's one of my favorite novelists, actually. Actually, Aisha Ode, she was in prison for a long time, and she wrote a very good books after she went back. This is Ahlam Sharat. She's also she's a modern writer. She writes for children. She writes poetry. She's fallaha. Fallaha is like from the village, and her language is very village, and she's very strong. This is Asma Azaize. She's actually from Haifa. She's also modern. This is Adaniya Shibli. She's very famous novelist. This is Layana Bader. She's also a novelist. Hala Shroof, also very young poet. Dalia Taha, she's my friend. She's a very good poet. She's the best. And Asma Al Ghul, also she's a journalist. She's living outside right now. She's from Gaza. Fatin Al Ghurra, actually she came to Gaza for the first time after like 20 or 15 years now. And she's stuck at a Shifa hospital right now. She lives in Norway. She's a poet, and she lives in, I think, Norway or Switzerland. I forget, but she went to visit her family for the first time, and she's now at the Shifa hospital. I don't know if she left or not. She's afraid to leave her family, unfortunately. This is Yara Bami and Lubna Taha. They both illustrator. They work in illustration for books. Illustration. They are great writers. Great. They both actually also write, and Yara worked with me. This is Zakaria Muhammad. We just lost like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. He's the best. This is Fayha Abdel Hadi. She's also a writer. Salma Al-Khadra Jayusi, she's one of the first writers of the Palestinians. She documents all the Palestinian literature. Basima Takruri, she lives now in Canada. She's also a poet and a writer. Too many others. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really want to read more and more Palestinian authors as well. So we will have another performance from Tesla. introduced us to many of Palestinian authors and a brief about them. How more people can access their work actually?
Their works, actually.
Their works.
Yeah. Actually, lots of them are translated to English. You can search for them. I think you can find their works online. At least I know العامري, سعاد العامري and فات الغرة. Lots of people, lots of them translated. Of course, most of them actually live in Palestine, live in Ramallah, live in Gaza, live in the cities. يعني it's hard actually, the whole publishing industry, it's a little bit hard because, you know, if you publish inside Palestine, you can't send your book outside Palestine. If you publish outside Palestine, your book can be get inside Palestine because of the borders, and because it's so hard to get books inside Palestine. It's very expensive. Sometimes Israeli they can just destroy the whole thing, especially if books come from Lebanon or something. So lots of time, books can't enter. So the industry itself is very hard, and we don't have good publisher. We don't have good system. It's frustrating, but there's a lot of good writer. Unfortunately, you have writers, but you don't have system.
Yeah, you studied Palestine writing workshop.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more about that? Despite the situation that the publishing.
Can we show the other, the second slides? Yeah. Actually, I remember I was working as a civil engineer, and I was writer all the time, but I worked a little bit as a civil engineer. But I also did a storytelling program, creative writing workshops. And the workshop was there. They were going to close there was initiative. It was initiative, but they told me, if you want to try yourself doing things with it. I said, okay, I'm crazy enough to do that. So I was volunteering to run the Palestine writing workshop for from 2013 till now, and I focused all my work on children literature. We publish lots of books. It's one of the best books in Arab country, actually, and wins the best prizes for the children, because, you know, most of the Arabic children books is like educational, is like very traditional a little bit. It's because literature is and dealing with kids, يعني, especially children literature, is very politics. يعني, it's how you see kids, how you see children. Do you want them to be freely and think in as separate than you, or you want to force ideas and thoughts on their minds and to make them do what you want them to do? So it's very politics, and at the same time there's a lot of money come from some organization which want take children literature very like not simple, like very like going a little bit naive with children, because they think children are naive. So how to treat children as human being, as a power, because they are very powerful, because they build the future, actually. So I was struggling find a publisher who can publish my books, children books, philosophic books, like different kind of books. Like we publish different kind of books.
What kind of topics usually you write for children's books?
Like me, I like philosophy. Like because I always say, I always ask myself who I am, what I like, and no, I like philosophy. I like questioning things. I like to see things in different perspective. I don't like things that is ready thoughts. So this is what I'm trying to give children's, like questions all the time, you know, how to dare to question the others, to have their own paths, يعني so books are our books is it's all go in that direction. Illustration is different, the topics are different, so يعني we are a small NGOs, yeah. We took very little money from sometimes to publish or to do our works, but we make it professional, like make creative writing. I do creative writing with also prisoners, the women prisoners who were in prison, like to use writing as a healing process. Documentation, like now we going to publish books about time and pain, documenting normal stories about normal people who's just how they live their life, how to deal with time and loss. And also, like you know, there's a lot of stories that you can't hear in journalist or in TV. This is just literature, and and it's from normal people, like they don't know how to write. So to document these kind of stories, like one story is like a little boy who was very happy about his ice cream, and he was walking and the soldiers came, invaded Ramallah, and he was really worried about the ice cream because it melted. Yeah, so it's these kind of stories which will be in your mind forever, but nobody will hear about it. You know, nobody will care about. Yeah, you need somebody to highlight it. Yeah.
Small moments, but can determine one little child's life at that moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do we have this slide?
I think it needs to download. Yeah. Yeah. It's a big. Yeah. If you had chance to do it, just put it there.
Okay. Yeah. So if you talk a lot about children,
yeah,
and how you love children, and how to shape their mind, and if we talk about children, we talk about the future. Yeah. So what kind of future that you imagine for Palestine?
Oh my God. No, don't dare to imagine that kind of question. I don't dare. They asked me to write a story about the future, like 15 years after, or 100 years. But I couldn't. Unfortunately, I have a lack of imagination, although I am a writer, but I have lack of imagination. If I want to imagine like a good vibe story of Palestine, I would love to see kids, like smart kids, take over all the hate and just say خلاص, we don't want to do this anymore. This is me actually when I was it's not so I would love to have one kid who's like this is me when I was 1 year old. This is the only picture I had for my childhood for like 20 years, I swear. So this is very important picture for me, and this is in I stole my first poem actually, and this is make me never stole poems again, because I felt the guilt all my life, because I want to tell them the truth, but I couldn't. I couldn't. So yeah, can we go? Yeah. This is my first novel in 2004, حبات السكر. It's about a relationship, a love relationship between a poet and the sheikh. You know, sheikh, like a very religious man from Hamas. Actually, it was Hamas. So it happened in university. It's all about philosophic thinking. Okay, can. Go. Just go to the picture. I think I sent you the wrong one. Okay. Go. Is there pictures in your slides? No. I think we are. I think I didn't send you the right one, because I was wondering. No, not this one. Not this one. Can you go to the other slides? Anyway, خلاص, it's fine, it's fine. Forget it. Forget it. Sorry, I wanted to show you some pictures, like our books cover and etc. Yeah, I was talking about the future.
Because our theme today also tonight also is writing the future.
The future, yeah. I think what they are preparing a new future actually for everybody. I think they are preparing cyber future, cyber land, and I think everything is happening. This lots of killing and lots of loss and lots of pain. I think it happened, so we go to that word with no guilt, or no, we don't. We will go to that because it's safer. It's the online, the virtual reality. Like, I think everybody, they are taking us to that reality, the virtual one, and it will be safer for everybody to live virtual, not to live the real life. Maybe that will be the future for not just Palestinian, for all humanity, unfortunately. Yeah, very optimistic, as you can see. Finally he find the right one. So this is Mahmoud Abu Samra, that one, that boy is Mahmoud Abu Samra. This is my novels. I had 4 novels actually. Nobody knows his blood type. This one will be published next year in US, actually, in English. And Glitter is my the newest, and it's also translated but not yet published. Yeah, the next slide. This is, I have 4 actually poetry book, but the first one I don't recognize it as, I don't like it. I was silly. And the new one is not here. So I translated these books actually to Arabic. This is actually some of my children books. Yeah, some of my children books.
All 50 books.
Not all. No, I have 50. I have more than 50. Yeah. This is our project in Palestine Writing Workshop. Go. This is Arabic. This is actually our children books in Palestine Writing Workshops. This is some of them.
Do you draw it yourself?
No. I'm not an illustrator. Unfortunately, I'm not an illustrator. I wish I am. We do activity for kids and children. This is Mulkash. This storytelling. This is at Palestine. We have book fair. We had book fair. This is in Jordan, actually, in one of the camps in Jordan. This is Palestinian. These are from Jerusalem. They were in prison, these people, actually. We have the creative writing workshops. This is one of the school in Jerusalem. These also women from Jerusalem. They all have violence problems in their lives, and this is a meeting. This is Yara. This is her book. She's Yara Bamia. She's also worked with me. She's a writer and illustrator. They translated her book to Swedish. There's one of kids. We just. I am also an actress. Actually, I do. This is Husniye. This is a character in that show. This actually live in the desert. These boys, they are amazing Bedouin kids. They live in a very marginal life. And this one of the storytelling I did in. This woman is. She worked with sheep, and she wrote a great story. Yeah. This is actually a writer. His name is Tariq Al-Arabi.
The one with the red.
He's a poet.
Oh.
This one, yeah. This is also in Nablus. This is a city called Nablus, the children in Nablus. These 3 women they were in prison, 3 of them. They are amazing. She's a great writer. They just took her again to prison, unfortunately. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Maya. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give your warmest
Thank you very much for listening.
Because you have an amazing activity, writing and storytelling with your writing workshop, despite all the situation, the conflict. So As we have talked about the conflict, the war, the tears, the blood, but what do you want people to remember most about Palestine?
Ah. Oof. I think the great people in Palestine, the great life, the great stories. They like people when you ask Palestinian what is the orange taste in Palestine, they will tell you, the orange in Palestine is like you will never taste like orange like it. They all hold their olive oils and they will put themselves to be killed to just to protect the trees their trees. So I think this is big and this is huge and this is something that show you who's these people. These are very strong and beautiful and they have empathy. And they are weak and they are like all other people. They have all the weakness and the beautiful and ugliness and they are normal people actually, but I think the survival mode they are living in is unbelievable. No, they are survival really. And I always say this, I don't, because this is the Western always like try to make us as a victim. And when you are a victim, you will always like follow orders. People that will give you food, they will give you medicine, they will give you things because you are victim.
You're powerless.
But we are survival. We have rights. This is totally different. When you have rights, people should treat you in strength and in power. They are weakening us by making us believe that we are victims, so we don't resist, we don't fight. But actually, Palestinian have rights, and this is why they are active and they are still alive. And still, the stories of Palestinians still move thousands of people, or millions of people around the world. So, and because we have the right, so Palestinian is a survival, and I hope. We will survive one day to free our Palestine. Let's hope that. Thank you.
Being a writer, sometimes we probably want to be the last leaf. The last leaf to fall from the tree.
Yeah.
Because we still want to tell more stories.
Yeah.
Do you want to read?
Yalla, you can be the last leaf.
Yeah.
You can be the last leaf. What do you remember? What is the name? You can.
You can.
You can. Are you falling asleep or not yet? You bored of me? Okay. Okay, you can't. They will fall in the end. Those who say you can't. It will be age or boredom that overtake them, or lack of imagination. Sooner or later, all leaves fall to the ground. You can be the last leaf. You can convince the universe that you pose no threat to the tree's life. I hope all of you will be last leaves in your own trees.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you.
For all the stories, all the, I don't know, encouragement. I mean, all the world now, the eyes of the world look to Palestine, and we wish that we can give anything that we can give, support, anything, any support that we can. But I found tonight that you're the one who give us encouragement, hopes, and spirits and power. So you pass here like a miracle, Maya. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to say that I feel like Indonesian people are the free and it's the only country in the world that I enter without visa. It's my first time, my first experience to go to the airport and they give me a visa at the airport. This has never happened to me, so I was felt so happy, and I was thinking, please stay like that, don't lose this, don't let them control you, because this is the influence, like they will come and they will say we are good and you don't know things, and we will teach you and we will give you more like being good person more, and then they will control you and they will let you do what they want them to do. So yani, stay at that spirit, and because you have a great culture and you can influence everybody else, and this is what I feel like I wanted to say to Indonesian people. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me
Thank you
and
so much.
everybody.
We will have a closing performance from our lovely musician, Tesla Munaf. so much, Tesla. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a very supportive audience here. And thank you so much, Maya. Last word. If we want to send love to Palestine people these days, what can we do?
Everything counts. Everything counts. Just I think everybody's. I know people are tired. They cry too much. I saw and heard the whole the stories from the people on the ground. I think nobody have anything to do except like just keep supporting and praying for them. And it's not, the war is not now. The war will after this finish. What is happening after this war, that is the war actually, because it's the people who gone is gone, but those who's alive, they have no food, no electricity, no houses, no home, no nothing. I think we will need you all after this for support and being there for them. Yeah, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rizka.
Thank you, Maya.